The number in your account right now is not just a number. It is a ceiling. It determines where you sleep, how long you wait, who returns your calls, and which problems simply disappear without effort. Most people never think about it this way. They think money is something you spend. The people at the top know it is something that restructures reality around you. This script begins where you are. It ends somewhere most people will never stand. Between here and there are 6 thresholds. Each one changes you in ways you will not fully notice until you are already on the other side. Every threshold has a cost. You will pay it whether you are ready or not. Level 1, the floor. You have $400 in your checking account and $1,200 coming in 11 days. Every purchase is a calculation. The $14 lunch, the $60 tank of gas, the $230 electricity bill, sitting unopened on the counter. Because opening it makes it real. You are not broke in the dramatic sense. You are just permanently behind, not by catastrophe, but by arithmetic. There is always something due before something arrives. Your financial life is not a plan. It is a series of gap fillings. You move money from one account to cover a minimum on another. You know your exact balance without checking because the anxiety of not knowing is worse than the number itself. This is not poverty. This is the condition of 62% of Americans who could not absorb a $1,000 emergency without borrowing. The trap is not the low income. The trap is that surviving this level takes all of your cognitive bandwidth. You cannot think about next year when next week is already a problem. Every financial decision is made under a low ceiling with bad lighting. The floor does not feel like a floor. It feels like where you live. And the longer you live there, the more it starts to feel like a fact about who you are rather than a circumstance you are inside of. Most people never question that feeling. That is exactly what keeps them here. Level 2, the margin. You are making $58,000 a year now. After tax, after rent, after the car payment, and the student loan minimum. You have $340 left each month that does not have a prior claim on it. This is the level where people start calling themselves stable. The bill's clear. Nothing is late. You go out on weekends without auditing the menu price column before you order. But $340 a month is not wealth. It is the illusion of breathing room. Your savings account holds $4,200. Technically an emergency fund. Practically a psychological comfort object. You are one bad month from spending it. One job loss from spending it twice. You have started a brokerage account. $50 a month into an index fund. It feels responsible. It feels like progress. And it is, except that at this contribution rate, compounding will not begin doing visible work for another 9 years. The margin is the level that tricks the most people. It feels like arrival. The stress is mostly gone. The math mostly works. You sleep through the night now. But you are one medical event, one transmission failure, one landlord renovation notice away from returning to the floor. You have not built a position. You have built a posture. And postures collapse the moment the ground shifts underneath them. The comfort of this level is real. So is its fragility. Do not mistake one for the other. Level 3, the accumulation. Something changed in year 4. You did not spend the raise. You did not upgrade the apartment. You kept the car. You redirected $1,800 a month into accounts that had nothing to do with your lifestyle. It felt like deprivation for about 6 months. Then it felt like control. Your net worth crosses $100,000. On a Tuesday afternoon, you do not celebrate. You check the number, note it, and close the app. Because you have read enough to know that $100,000 is not financial freedom. It is the beginning of compounding becoming visible. At 9% annualized return, that $100,000 becomes $236,000 in 10 years without another dollar added. That is the first moment you truly understand that money, held correctly, does a second job you never have to show up for. It works weekends. It works while you sleep. It works while you are sitting in a meeting that has nothing to do with it. You have also started to notice something social. Friends from the margin are still at the margin. They are not failing. They are just spending every raise the month they receive it. You do not say anything. There is nothing to say, but you begin attending fewer dinners. Not by design, just because the things they want to do cost money. You have decided has a different destination. The gap is not dramatic yet, but it has opened, and it will not close. Level 4, the leverage. Your net worth is $340,000. Your income is $112,000. And for the first time, you are using debt as a tool rather than a consequence. You put 20% down on a 2-unit property in a mid-sized city, where rent covers the mortgage and generates $640 a month in cash flow. You did not buy it because you wanted to be a landlord. You bought it because you understood that the tenant's rent payment was building your equity while your own capital remained deployable elsewhere. This is the leverage, the level where you stop trading time for every dollar and begin building systems that trade other people's money for your position. You max your 401k. You open a SEP IRA. You have an LLC. You have an accountant who finds $8,400 in deductions your previous self would have paid without question. The person you are at this level is unrecognizable to the person you were at the floor, not in values, but in fluency. You understand amortization schedules. You understand tax loss harvesting. You understand that the W-2 is the least efficient way to build wealth in the American tax code. Your vocabulary has changed. The way you read a contract has changed. The questions you ask before signing anything have changed. You are now operating in a language most people around you do not speak. You attend fewer social events, not because you are busy, because the conversation at those events covers a terrain you have already moved past, and you do not yet know how to be present without feeling the distance. So you stop trying. Level 5, the architecture. Your net worth crosses $1.2 million at 39. It does not feel like the movies. There is no champagne. There is a notification on your phone from a brokerage app, and then a call from your financial advisor about rebalancing, and then dinner with your spouse that is mostly about the kids' school calendar. The number is real. The ceremony is not. At this level, your money has structure. You have a trust. You have an umbrella policy. You have a private wealth manager at a firm that does not advertise because it does not need to. Your minimum investable asset requirement for that relationship was $750,000. Below that number, they do not return calls the same day. You know this because you tested it years ago at $200,000. The architecture of your financial life is now more complex than most people's careers. You have 7 distinct income streams. 3 are passive. 2 require quarterly attention. When you have not checked in 4 months and it still produced $3,200 last month. You write a check to a private school for $36,000 a year, and it does not disrupt your cash flow. You have not thought about a price tag in a grocery store in 3 years. That sounds like peace. In some ways it is. In other ways, the grocery store was one of the last places. You move through the world like everyone else. Unremarkable. Anonymous. Just another person deciding between 2 things. You miss that more than you expected. You will not admit that to anyone. Level 6. The altitude. The conversations stop being about money at this level. They are about access. You are worth $8 million. Your accountant is a firm, not a person. Your estate plan was drafted by a partner at a law firm that charges $950 an hour and schedules 4 months out. You fly business class domestically and do not think about it. You are invited to things that do not have public announcements. A dinner for 14 people in a private room above a restaurant that has no sign on the door, where 3 of the guests make decisions that move industries. You are not the most powerful person in the room. Not yet, but you are in the room. And being in the room is how the next level becomes available. The people at the altitude are not flashy. Their homes are large, but not grotesque. Their cars are expensive, but not theatrical. They have learned that visibility is a vulnerability. Real power does not announce itself. You have learned this too. You have a small circle now. For people you trust completely. The others are contacts, relationships, allies, but not the kind of trust you carry in your chest. You gave something up at each level to get here. At the floor, you gave up comfort. At the margin, you gave up impulse. At the accumulation, you gave up spending. At the leverage, you gave up leisure. At the architecture, you gave up anonymity. Here, at the altitude, you give up the last thing. You stop needing to explain yourself to anyone. And in that silence, something that used to feel like freedom starts to feel, occasionally, like a different kind of alone. The close. You started with $400 and a bill you would not open. That person still exists somewhere in your posture. In how you check the account before a large purchase. In why you remember every dollar amount from that first year with photographic clarity. The money changed. The number changed. What stayed is harder to name. The highest levels are not loud. They are quiet in a way that takes years to adjust to. You have everything the person at the floor was reaching for. Most days, that is enough. Some nights, you sit with the silence and remember when the problem was simpler and the stakes were lower and the people around you were still there. That is not regret. It is not failure either. That is just the price of the distance you crossed. The question was never whether you could get here. The question, the one nobody asks at the beginning, the one nobody warns you about, is what you will do with the quiet when you arrive.